Hi there everyone. So I was trying to think about how to put together a video about the upper legs, so our thighs basically, between the knee here and the hip up here. It sort of dawned on me as I was trying to work out how I could have just look at this area of the body on its own, that I have to put it in the context of the whole leg, really, particularly the knee joint and the hip joint and the pelvis, because you can start to see from these diagrams pretty much all of the muscles in our thighs, all the way around our thighs, are running across the knee joint and attaching onto the pelvis and around the hip. So let's talk this through a little bit. So this is the side-on view of the outside of your legs. This is a side-on view of the knee here. And this kind of curved bit at the top is the outside sort of curve of your pelvis. So this is the bit, if you put your hands on your hips, you're not actually putting your hands on your hips, you're putting your hands on the top of the side of your pelvis here. The hip joint is actually hidden under the front, just here, or kind of here in this front-on view. So what kind of marks us out as two-legged creatures, as bipedals, is the size and the strength of this IT band. So if you're a runner, you probably heard about the IT band, and it is this sort of really thick, very strong band that attaches onto the outside of our tibia, attaches to a few of the glute muscles around the top to stabilise it and tension it. It is incredibly strong. You cannot stretch it. You can put about 800 kilos worth of force through this and it will not lengthen at all. However, the tightness is, any tightness that you feel down the outside of the leg is often caused by these muscles that it attaches to, getting too tight, or the fact that it's got a little bit adhered to the muscles underneath. So worth bearing that in mind. So a lot of these things, and this is why a lot of the thigh sort of structures attach around into the pelvis, are to do with the fact that they're stabilising the movement of this leg in the hip socket. So if we look at this front-on view, so this is the front of your knee here, this is the front of your pelvis, your hip is hiding under here. This bit, for example, is the bit that a lot of muscles attach to. This is the bit you can feel on the outside of your hip. So a lot of these muscles are to do with balance and coordination. So we can see the number that are running down the outside of the leg that are running round. And these are stabilizers. So they're trying to make sure that the leg is always pointing forwards. It's not rotating too much inside and out. So they're controlling that rotational movement. And they're controlling the leg movement sort of left and right. So in towards your centre line and away from your centre line. So there's a lot of stabilizing stuff going on here. And we can see from the back as well, you know, we've got a lot of glutes. I'll go into glutes in much more detail because there's much more to them than just this in one of my next videos. But they're doing a lot of stabilising work as well. Now, the main muscles that we want to use for propulsion, for walking, for running, for cycling, for anything that involves kind of going forwards, basically, are the quads. So the quads are named as such because there are 4 of them. This one, these 2 here, and that one. So there's one sort of slightly underneath this one, which you can only see popping out the top. So these all attach, like I mentioned in my knee video, on big tendons with the kneecap in the middle onto the front, and then up here, right onto the front of the pelvis, kind of in the crease. So when you sit down, that crease that kind of forms a fold in your trousers in between your thigh and the bottom of your tummy. And then at the back, we've got the hamstrings. So there's a few different muscles that make up the hamstring group, as well as the glute max. And they're to do with driving us forward. So these muscles, bigger muscles here. We have quite long femurs, so the thigh bone that goes from hip to knee joint, just one bone there as opposed to having 2 in our lower legs. The biggest bone, longest bone in the human body, and much longer than our 4-legged and other sort of ape relatives. So yeah, interesting. But what is going to be more interesting, I think, is when we go on to talk about the hip and the pelvis in the next couple of videos, because that's where more complexities around being a 2-legged creature start coming out. Hope that's useful. Happy running.